Good morning, everyone. This meeting of the Sawyer County Land, Water, and Forest Resources Committee meeting is called to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Steve Karayanen.
Here.
Randy Newman.
Here.
Kay Wilson. Here. Jim Evans.
Here.
Dale Magnuson. Allison John Jack. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of compliance with the open meetings law.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. The meeting agenda is set. At this time, we will turn to public comments. Ms. Linda Zillmer, please.
Good morning, Linda Zillmer, Edgewater property owner, and I consider myself a lakeshore steward on 3 lakes, 2 in Sawyer County and 1 in Washburn. It's about conservation, and I believe that's where this committee can have the most impact, is supporting conservation efforts. I attended DATCAP's Land and Water Conservation Board meeting in Madison last week to watch Natalie and Tim present the 10-year conservation plan or land and water resource management plan. And I learned a lot of things that I haven't learned from either reading the plan or attending these meetings. I never realized there were 64 active gravel pits in the county. And I also did not realize that there is a whole backlog of conservation projects that people are waiting for, but there's lack of funding. So it's for those of you who may not remember, DATCAP, the reason you do this plan partially is to get funding from the state to help support the salaries of your conservation folks, and then a small amount for conservation projects. I have never seen where the department has asked this committee to help fund any of these projects or that there's a backlog. So I don't know if that happens in the budget process and it never makes it to you, but I would ask as a future agenda item that you place an agenda item to use the $100,000 set aside for the zoning rewrite to catch up on conservation projects. And then the email I sent you this morning was about AB 1033, which is a wake surfing bill that does not address the problems that can be caused from wake surfing too close to shorelines, for example. And restoring shorelines is part of the projects that are backlogged. I'm sorry, because I had 3 issues and I'm getting them all mixed up. The other thing is when you look at the damage that may be caused by water recreation, we have a lake consultant that the Big Chautauqua and Birch Lakes Association uses, and they were also involved with the Lake District that was formed here. And one of the things that they noted is that the big problem that they're having right now is recreational activities going through lakes and streams, primarily ATVs and UTVs going off trails and going through that. So if that could also be addressed, I'd appreciate it. And then in the crop damage, a few years ago when the crop damage report was presented to this committee, there were aerial photos showing that a lot of these fields are basically, they look like food plots in the middle of the woods. And so Sawyer County had at that time some of the highest crop damage claims in the entire state. So as you look at those claims, please maybe take into consideration whether these are crops or maybe more like food plots. And then I know it doesn't deal with the tags that are associated with this, but please review that aspect too when you look at the list of claims. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with public comments today?
Yes. Can you hear me? This is Joan Burley.
Yes, go ahead, Joan.
Okay.
Introduce
My name
yourself.
is My name is Joan Burley. My Hayward address is 9845 North Carlson Lane. I am a board member at Round Lake Property Owners Association. I'm here to talk about increasing our preventive efforts to address AIS in our lakes. We are real concerned about AIS in our lakes. We share this concern with other lake associations, the DNR, towns of Hayward, towns of Round Lake, and Sawyer County. We all have goals in our 10-year plans and our 5-year plans to address AIS and maintaining or increasing water quality. We want to increase our preventive efforts at Round Lake Property Owners. We have since 1994 been managing or treating Eurasian water milfoil in our lakes. That's over 30 years. That, year after year, it's a constant battle to try to control and manage AIS. Oh, when I say AIS, that's aquatic invasive species. I believe you all know that. So this problem with AIS is bigger than just Round Lakes. We would like to collaborate with other like-minded agencies, forms of government, businesses, lake associations, and so forth, because we don't have the resources to take on large preventive efforts on our own, particularly personnel. So we are just now starting to talk about the possibility of a decontamination station or systems. I know Lake Owen has a decon system. They have 3. Wendigo got one this summer. And I believe Coudray just got a grant awarded, or didn't get the grant. So they had a grant application for a decontamination system. I know I've been watching the quagga mussels, which have decimated all of the Great Lakes except Lake Superior, which is the one we're closest to. And that is only controllable using a high pressure hot water system. And so we are looking at those. The larvae are resistant to all of the other treatments, the bleach and just the plain water pressure type of systems. That does not eliminate the larva for the quagga mussels. So the challenge that we face is cleaning ballast tanks, live wells, other places that are difficult to drain and get the AIS out of our watercrafts. So some areas within the state and other areas use mobile stations that can be towed on a trailer and serve more than one lake. And so that's something we'll also want to talk about. I know some of you are Round Lake property owners, some of you are lake users, and so we would like to invite you to join us in a discussion about how we can increase our preventive efforts and looking at decontamination systems. We'd like to invite some representative from your committee or your board to be a part of this. We are just now beginning to look at this possibility. We have contacted other lake associations, other businesses, and so forth, that we would like to work together to see what we could do and perhaps take a bigger look at this than just Round Lake. So we have no date set up. We are really just beginning this process, but we would very much like to collaborate with Sawyer County on looking at what we can do effectively to address AIS in our area lakes.
Thank you, Joan.
Yep, this is an invitation.
Yep. Thank you much. Anybody else for public comments? No one else online? If not, we will move on to consideration of the approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Evans and a second by Mr. Newman to approve the previous minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, events. Do we have any events to consider?
No applications received this month.
Okay, that being the case, we'll move on to item 10, Register of Deeds Report.
So we had a busy month for a lot of transfers that came through in January. We had $119,000 in transfer fees that came through because of 2 timber sales totaling over $20 million. So a big chunk of that was their transfer fees, but we had a lot of also sales that came through versus December being only $38,000. We had kind of a lower month in Laredo, which is our title companies, and Tapestry is online. And Vital Records was up due to a lot of deaths, and people are getting their real IDs. So that's been a big flux in Vital Records. Do you have any questions?
No question, just a comment. Wow, that's a chunk of change in 1 month.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to top that month in January, so. Thank
Off to a
you.
Good start, thank you. Item 11, Land Records and County Surveyor Reports. Those reports are both in our packets, so any questions from any of the committee or comments regarding either report? I guess didn't seem to be anything of great interest there, so we'll move on to item 12, Forestry. Item A, 2026 Emergency Fire Warden's Appointment. We have 5 individuals appointed for fire warden positions, and those individuals were Henry Bearhart for the town of Hayward, Dan Deneen, town of Sand Lake, Greg Kalsher, town of Spider Lake, Sarah DeMaria, the city of Hayward, and Sebastian Payne, city of Hayward. So I guess if there's any, I believe we just need a motion to approve if,
I'll make a motion to approve the 5 representatives for fire wardens.
Second?
we have a motion and a second. A motion by Mr. I'm sorry, I'm losing it.
What are the duties of the fire wardens? What do they do?
I can answer that question. So the emergency fire wardens, they essentially can issue burning permits to individuals of the public. You can obtain a burning permit online, but for those that choose to do it in person, these locations Pop Smart Fuels and Happy Hooker Bait and Tackle are 2 brick and mortar places you can go get a paper copy of a burning permit for like an annual burning permit through the DNR. So these are just to be approved by county board, stating that these are 5 individuals other than a ranger like myself or getting your permit online, that you can get a permit in the county.
So that's essentially their job for this position?
Yep, so they don't get paid anymore, or they just get the credentials of being an emergency fire warden.
Okay, thanks.
So we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, County Forestry Report.
Okay, month is January. We did have 18 sales listed as active. Contractors are settling into their winter sales. We're already kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for winter running out here. Regarding that, we did have a little bit of a hiccup with markets. LP announced that they're temporarily suspending any wood deliveries, and it sounds like it's going to be till after breakup at this point. They've just got too much product and no room, it sounds like. So it's a little bit of a hiccup, but we'll see how it goes. So we're still talking to a handful of contractors that might be in a little bit of a bind at the moment, but I'll keep you updated on that. So other than that, our sale value sold and uncut on file right now is just over 4.6 million. Sale revenue for January, we're just under 100,000, so we're a little bit off of what we typically see, but we do have just under 350,000 billed out, so that should catch us up to where we should be for a month of January. The harvested volumes are listed here. Sale inspections, we're on target for the amount of activity. We did have 5 tracts turned in for review. Recon acres, we hit a big chunk of that this month. You can kind of tell that we had a big stretch of cold weather that foresters caught up on a lot of their paperwork. That kind of reflects in these numbers. A little bit of activity on Good Neighbor Authority right now. We're just starting our new contract for this year. Other than that, I don't have anything new to report on the rest. We still no new information for carbon. But if there's any questions?
No question, just a comment. I appreciate having the volume in there, and I assume that's going to be on a monthly basis going forward.
Yep.
Great, yeah. It helps put a little context to the dollars received. So, thank you.
Yep.
Item C, Wisconsin DNR report.
So I am Brody Fisher, forest ranger with the DNR, filling in for Craig today. In January, we focused a lot of our hours on sale prep, recon, and burn plan preparations. And at this time, that number is a little low now. We're approximately 75% of our time standards have been completed for this year, which is our fiscal year till it resets in June. So we're on a really good pace right now, getting ready for the spring. As Greg said, the light's at the end of the tunnel there. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. Item D, U.S. Forest Service report.
Well, good morning. My name is Mike Martin. I'm the district ranger for the Great Divide Ranger District. I appreciate the opportunity to come and just share a snapshot of activity on the National Forest. Right now, we're coming out of a very good winter in terms of the conditions that we've had for operations. And as our partners here are noting, we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's refreshing after a couple of years of low snow and mild temperatures to have conditions for operations. We have 10 active sales currently operating on Great Divide Ranger District. We're moving into our second quarter of our offerings. We're looking to have about another 3 to 4 sales advertised this quarter that we can move out on. An area of interest is the McQuantico area around Forest Road 319 and 320 off of Highway 77, so just east of Hayward. That's going to be an area of emphasis for us in this coming field season, and there'll be some sales coming out of that area. Some activity that we're grappling with right now. Markets have changed, and we do have a handful of no-bid timber sales that we're repackaging and looking at how can we change that and reflect conditions that would make them either more desirable or achieve some of our objectives. And what we're doing is looking at our utilization standards, and we're increasing some of those size diameters, which will help in a minor way, but lots of minor tweaks will help create better change in the future for those sales. So utilization standards, are looking at that going from about a 5-inch bottom, 4-inch top to a 6-inch bottom and a 5-inch top. So minor tweaks there. Other activity that we're looking at right now, we've been working with an organization called NDA, the National Deer Association. And they're an organization that we are on the cusp of signing an agreement with to do stewardship work on the National Forest. It would be akin to GNA, working on forestry implementation. So taking a sale and grabbing it from the layout side through operations and then close out plus doing any resource work that's associated with the sale. So it's another partner activity that we're just on the cusp of moving out on right now. Just wrapping up, recreation use across the National Forest has been extremely high this year with the advent of snow. So snowmobile use, cross-country skiing use are hitting new marks for us right now. And that's exciting to see with the weather that we've had. And finally, just we're on the preseason of our fire season, making preparations. We're also sending resources to the south right now as they're in their active season right now. So that's a snapshot of the National Forest. Be happy to take any questions that you might have.
I had a question,
Yes, ma'am.
please. With the timber sale in the McGuanago area, do you have standards to protect the ski trail in that area so that they stay away from the trail?
We've worked really closely with our recreation team and through our public planning process. And just to in short, yes, we are taking special provisions with slash treatments along the trail. We're looking at actually utilizing the trail in some places to create reroutes of that trail so that it has a different alignment, which would favor some of the skiers' demands that have been coming to us. And then our strategies with harvest will be helping with the long-term, health of that forest. Meaning we're going to be looking at the oaks that are in there, doing some harvest, opening the spacing up for that, so it'll still have a big tree character, but it will be active management. It'll look rough for a few years, but over time, we should have a good product. One thing that I'm considering is just how do I reach out with the recreation community on that specific trail because of its high interest. And so I foresee hosting just a few hikes that I'll take people out and be able to walk and show them what the harvest units will look like, what will the impacts be during operations, and then how will it be left into the future. So we're trying to outreach and get people engaged to understand that. Thank you. You're welcome.
Very good. Any other questions? Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you.
Recreational trails report. Anything on non-motorized trails?
Motorized. Good morning, Tim Davison. How is everybody today? Good. So as Mike was saying, recreational use is high, very high. With no snow in the south or the west of here, we've had everybody from their mother to their brother up here snowmobiling. It's been fairly difficult, but manageable to keep trails up. We've had a fair amount of equipment breakdowns, but we're getting by. Usually we have a very quick turnaround on having a machine down and get it back up. So everything's going well on that respect. Like everybody's saying, the light at the end of the tunnel, I think we're also looking at that too. We probably got 5 weeks left of snowmobiling. If we can get through this next weekend, we'll be doing fine. We do suspend grooming operations if temperatures are above 30 degrees. So we don't send any groomers out to prevent trail damage and everything else that goes with it. It's just better for everybody. I don't know how we're going to keep the people off the trails, but that's not going to happen. Otherwise, everything's going well as far as the snowmobile season. We've had some accidents and we've had some deaths, as everybody knows. And can't prevent that. If the best we can is educate people on where to drive and how to drive. And we're doing that actively within the Alliance. I'm going to have Don Moreau-Tech talk to you guys a little bit for a few minutes about NORTEC and what that is and how it works for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Don Moreau-Tech. Excuse me. I'm also on the Alliance Government Committee with Tim. So very involved there. On January 29th, I attended the NORTEC meeting over in Washburn County at the Spooner DNR station. NORTEC is 10 county area representatives to talk about different trail issues and that. There's been some issues with the organization itself over the last few months. We haven't had a meeting. The last 2 quarterly meetings have been canceled. So trying to work things out on that. Big discussion at this past meeting was uniform trail emergency sign issues. So with the 10 county areas, most everybody has a different kind of emergency signs out there. So it'd be nice that we all get on the same page with it. the State Snowmobile Association. We talked about that, and they're recommending what 3 words? And that's an app for your telephone. I'm not sure if, Greg, if you're aware of it. County Dispatch does have that. So if you have that app on your telephone, you can pull that app up and it gives you 3 words. And then you report that to dispatch and they can pinpoint your location. So there's no need for signage with that. It's just an app on the telephone. Bayfield County and some of Sawyer County is using a uniform grid system on the silent sports. Several years ago, Greg put out fire numbers on our motorized trails and that. So like I said, there's different systems being used all over. And it'd be nice to try to get some kind of uniform system on that. Another big discussion, we've been having it locally, and it was brought up there at Nortec, is an opening and closing date for the snowmobile trails. Currently, Sawyer County doesn't have an official opening and closing date, and it's something that's been asked about, is trying to set something up so law enforcement has some grounds on doing it, and also that we can promote when our trails are open or closed. Sawyer County is kind of unique. We have 7 different entities that we use for our snowmobile trails. We have the Sawyer County Forest Land, we have the Tuscobia State Trail, we have the Flammable Forest Trail, we have LCO trails, we have the Schwamigan National Trails back there, private land, and we have 20 different frozen lake bodies that we cross for ours. And of course, that's a big issue, making sure that those are all safe to have trails across. And the big thing, of course, we're talking about is our funding bill. We've got a bill in legislature right now to raise our trail passes up. Snowmobiles and ATVs have a segregated account. They do not get taxpayer money. All the money that goes for snowmobile trails comes from registration, trail pass, or a gas tax formula. So with the last 2 years, it's been extremely poor conditions out there, and registration and trail passes was down quite a bit. And so there's a huge gap in that we need to get more money back into that account to pay for our trail systems. Okay, with that being said, on Nortec, on February 5th, I'm on the Governor's Snowmobile Rec Council. So we had a meeting over in St. Germain on that day, and we talk about how we're going to spend our funds. And of course, with the shortage of money, that's been a problem. Governor's Council is also supporting a raise in fees for trail passes and that. Unknown fact for most people, for snowmobile trails, there's 1,700 bridges, snowmobile bridges. That's been our biggest problem in the last 2 years. We've been getting better than 20 bridges a year asked for replacement or repair on their bridges. We have not had enough funding for those. First category is maintenance of trails, and $6 million goes to maintenance. Second category is bridge repair, and we can't fund that. So with that being said, there's not enough money to go into new trails or rehabbing trails themselves. It's just the bridges. And so that's desperately needed to get more money into that pot. What's interesting is attending the meeting is also somebody from state tourism. And I don't know how many people look at Travel Wisconsin. A lot of your snowmobilers look at Travel Wisconsin to see where to go for snowmobiling. They can punch on the different counties and that to see what the conditions are in those counties. Vilas County is #1 for hits on Travel Wisconsin. Sawyer County was #2, above Iron County, Hurley area. So we have more people checking out Sawyer County trail conditions than Iron County does. So I think that's a pretty big thing. I think, as everybody says, there's a lot of snowmobiles coming to our area. That rounds it off. Any questions on anything? What 3 words? I'm not into technology, so I can't tell you too much on that, but
It's completely dependent upon having a connection to the internet. We've got a national grid locator that we're using on non-motorized trails that exists without any internet connection. That's being used in the dispatch. I'd like to get together with the Alliance. I'll send you guys an email just about, like, let's not duplicate too many different ways to locate people out there when, we've got dispatch new technology in dispatch to be able to pinpoint where the cell phone call is coming from, and having a couple of different systems for signage out there is going to be a bit much. So I'll be in contact.
right. And we were looking at the what 3 words is not so much signage, but on the app, but you're saying that your cell phone coverage, it doesn't work? Some of it.
Well, sure, but also, it's not like the internet's going away, but it doesn't exist in real life, and there's no way to reference it without, their server running. We don't have any, it wouldn't be mission critical. We don't have any way to, store it on our own. We're dependent upon whatever company What 3 Words is, what's that?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything on non-motorized trails before we move on? If not, zoning and conservation.
As far as the conservation report, DNR has issued the official order water level change on the Billy Boy flowage. It is the county's intention to keep that water level towards the high side of the maximum amount that has now been approved by the DNR. Conservation staff did present the land water resource management plan to the State Conservation Board. That was on February 3rd. That'll now move on to the county board. I'm going to still try to get that on for county board approval for next Thursday. Conservation staff also attended the Northwest Wisconsin Land and Water Conservation Association, where they heard from other area counties and held the area competition for the speaker and poster contest. As far as the Sawyer County poster and speaking contest, it was very successful this year. We had our most number of posters submitted with 141 of them, with the majority of them coming from the Winter School District. 3 of those posters then went on to the area competition. Actually, 3 of them placed at the area competition, which will now move on to the state competition. We also had 2 speakers from the Winter School District, one that placed 3rd and one that placed 3rd in the area competition. That first place winner will also move on to the state competition in March. We'd heard from Joan Burley here this morning. We are working and trying to collaborate with the Round Lake Property Owners Association to look at additional decontamination stations. Still early stages, but again, trying to get a meeting set up with them, looking at potential funding, whether that's state grants, county funding, Round Lake Property Owners Association funding. That's what it all boils down to. I think everyone's on board, and we do want additional, decontamination stations out there. It's, well, who's going to pay for those projects? So we are looking at funding options on those. Tree sale is still active and online, and we still have a variety of trees for purchase. Unless there's any additional comments or questions, I would then turn it over to the wildlife damage claim portion.
So, yes, good plan. Let's go on to the wildlife damage claims.
Hello, I'm James Doss with USDA Wildlife Services. I'm here to present the wildlife damage claims for the 2025 season for all the enrollees that all have submitted a claim. I just need the signatures, which can wait at the end, and if I don't have any questions or comments, that's all I really have.
When claims are submitted, I'm just thinking to a comment we heard earlier, is there any effort to screen them for possible wildlife plots versus real genuine agriculture?
Yes, so we go in person to conduct samples at all of these plots, whether it's myself or the other individuals that work at the office. We physically go in, conduct samples, we assess these plots. They are used for commercial use only, so these individuals are harvesting them, whether it's for stored feed, silage that year, and/or grain corn. Each one is screened to make sure it is a commercial agricultural aspect and not where someone is baiting deer legally or using it as a food plot for any kind of manner.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Appreciate that. I guess this is an action item, right?
85, so I think we need to get closer to 140. So we are going to be going to the Gordon Commons on the first day, where we're going to have a general session and write down.
Liz, did we approve them payments before, in an earlier meeting?
This is the first time you're seeing this year. You approved them here last year.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 5 wildlife damage claims.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Newman and a second by Ms. Wilson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Board appointed committee updates is next.
There was somebody online trying to talk.
Oh,
It was just someone who didn't have their screen muted. It was a mistake.
okay, all right. Nothing on board appointed committee updates. How about correspondence reports from conferences and meetings? Future agenda items? I guess we are adjourned. Thank you all.
I think it's just him. I think it's just you that have to sign it.
I think it's